sub. So the subs underneath the stage rattle the computer and it freezes up. So what we realized is let's have the tracks actually be referenced from a flash drive that's in the computer so that doesn't actually lock.
Wow.
Something simple like that is you test every cable and you go through everything and then you just realize something like that and you just make that change.
Sure, but it takes like weeks of research and like trying to figure out like why is it doing this, and like searching like audio forums and because it was just us trying to figure this stuff out. We didn't have any professionals like telling us what to do.
Sure.
And so after like weeks, and it's like, oh okay, well a flash drive doesn't have any moving parts in it to skip or anything like that. So let's try that. And then even that generation kind of was flawed and had problems. And then you move to just a solid state hard drive that doesn't move around at all. So we've thought about just like
we feel like we could write a book on it.
Yeah.
So good question.
Oh, it's science, I'm sure. How do you guys feel about being on terrestrial radio here in Denver? That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I think that
because we know the scene here is amazing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, starting out in our hometown, that's where we truly did kind of like, we didn't really travel a lot at first. For like the first 8 months to a year, and we really focused on our hometown. And we always talked about like, someday we're gonna get outside of our own hometown and play maybe more than 3 shows at a time.
It happened really fast, right?
Yeah, and it happened actually pretty quickly. But it's still like it's cool to like come all the way out, farther away from our own homes.
Right. Well, I gotta tell you. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, just play it's cool.
I gotta tell you, I feel really cool because I've been playing listening to you guys for 4 years now. It's been really cool for me personally to
I told you.
seeing that progress and supporting that progress has been really cool. So thank you guys for bringing that. So
thank you, man.
That's really cool stuff, dude. Like, seriously. Who's the label? Who's signed you?
The label's called Fueled by Ramen.
What is it?
Fueled by Ramen. It's a subsidiary of Atlantic. They have bands like Fun, Paramore, Panic at the Disco. They started Fall Out Boy.
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy, right? So, there was at one point we had dozens of labels interested in one, and all of a sudden it just clicked. We truly don't know how it happened. It just all of a sudden. I mean, we have some theories, but we don't know exactly why it all happened and when it did. And so it was a good combination of indie labels and major labels.
Yeah.
And an indie label and a major label, they have pros and cons to them. And Fueled by Ramen truly has pros from a major label sense as far as resources, not just money. We actually didn't take the money. And we had other deals that were like, your whole life's going to change. And we're like, well, we want to partner in this. And so Fueled by Ramen fit that when it came to having the resources of a major, but also having the staff and the roster and the feel of an indie where they can really pay attention to you, give you the time that we deserve, and we couldn't be happier with the team that we have over there. We're buds with all of them.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's good. With labels, when it's going good, it's going great.
Right.
If it's going bad, it's going horrible. And that's just the way labels are. Right now, it's going well for us. So
that was going to lead me into my next question. I mean, you guys were obviously doing well before. Do you believe that you need to have a label to be successful? There obviously are perks to having these labels. Obviously, now that you are signed, I mean, there's different. Has it opened up other doors to see, wow, this is what it's really about now?
Well, it depends on how much you give away. Right. Because if you've developed an entity that doesn't have a lot of currency to it, like there aren't a lot of markets that you can go to, you don't have a lot of fans, you don't have a presence online, a label's going to come in and look at you as a risk. So then you're going to listen, we want to own everything you have, they're going to shelve you. Because, well, that too, it's like, we want to take everything you have because it's a huge risk financially for them to put a bunch of thousands and thousands of dollars into you. So, we had something, we had a product, and we were able to kind of pit that against the other labels to an extent where it's like, listen, we want, I own my songs, there are things that you can go about doing.
So you own your masters?
No, the label owns the masters, okay. but the mechanical, what's the word for it? Creative property, intellectual property. That's the thing that a lot of labels throw. That's a publishing deal. Sure. A lot of labels will throw a record deal on top of a publishing deal. Sure. Say, sign this. Sure. And we were able to take the publishing deal out of it and see, okay, who's still interested. Obviously, Feel Barometer was like, absolutely.
So you own all your lyrics and music currently. Now the recordings with the music.
Well, what happens is the label fronts a certain amount of money for you to go record it.
Right.
So the actual recordings they own, which is very common. No one really owns the recordings unless they have a. I don't know how to get a drum tone the right way. You know, we don't know how to record a vocal in the right sense that it like fits perfectly. So I'm more than willing to give someone ownership of mechanicals in order to get the song to sound right. But then when it comes to the creative property, which is the publishing, which is where the ability to make money, the ability to decide where your songs go and who owns them and what commercials are they going to be on and all these horror stories that you have, that was a part of
Which you've heard a bunch, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it was a part of the reason why we went with Feel Barometer, because they were willing to take that off the table. And now we're able to start a conversation with publishing companies on partnering with us on our music because of what they bring to the table. Because a publishing company, they're not just have to own your stuff and sit on it. Truly what they do is they're a seat at the table of all the people that are working for you. They're partners in getting your songs places. Like, if I'm not worried about selling out, because selling out happens in the studio when you decide what kind of songs you're gonna write. Right. But my goal and our goal is to get as many people to hear our music as possible. So why wouldn't that be my goal?
That was funny because that was well put.
Okay, good. Well, it's like, why wouldn't I want as many people in the world to hear it? And if that means, obviously, like, I'm not going to endorse certain things, but I'm not going to worry about selling out because my music appears somewhere. Right. Especially the money that's involved in that. My parents are school teachers. If I turn down a ton of money because I'm afraid of selling out, it's like a slap in their face. Right. I'm out to provide, I want to provide for my family. Like, I want to give my dad the stuff that he's been giving me my whole life. Yeah, so I don't know. There's just another sense of motivation.
To give it back to
We gotta get out of the room.
Really?
Okay.
They're kicking us out?
Just one more question I have. What suggestions do you have to new and upcoming bands that are trying to work, especially two-man bands that we do have here locally that are there's one band in particular. Is there any advice that you would give to any of these artists?
I would say go as long as you can trying to record your own music, because you can truly have control of where the song goes. You don't have anyone telling, this should go this way, this should go this way. So try to record yourself. It's not worth going into a studio and getting someone to record drums. Just use a replacement. Use a MIDI keyboard. Just fake it. And this is coming from a drummer. He totally agrees. It's not worth the money, the time to dial in a kick drum and mix. It's like, go on your keyboard and play a kick drum. Like, someone wants to hear, what do you want a song to sound like? A demo should be